Hello, good evening. Namaste, everyone. Welcome to Story Time with Rashmi on Spectrum, the Awareness Project. As you are all aware that we have been talking about core values, and do I recapitulate? Yes. So our core values are acceptance, empathy, and inclusion. So today we have a very seasoned storyteller, Rohini Jayanti. She's passionate about storytelling and is a writer. She's a founder of Katha Karwa, a platform to motivate, encourage, transform, and inspire children and adults in various aspects of life to bring about creative and innovative potential in them. So she believes that story is that right medium to evolve each of us, and she's also a mindfulness and a happiness coach. Her short stories and poems have been published in various anthologies and international journals. She conducts online and offline creative writing and storytelling sessions for kids and adults through her music and puppetry. She has also taken an initiative of compiling and publishing an anthology of poems and short stories written by children. She's really passionate about whatever she's doing in this sphere. Presently, she is pursuing her post graduation in expressive therapies. Isn't that very interesting to have a storyteller who's pursuing something in expressive therapies, which I haven't really heard of before? And she considers herself as a lifelong learner and a seeker. That's really, really commendable of you, Rohini. And we really look forward to the story which you will tell us today. So, also kindly let us know how you're going to narrate your story so that our viewers really get an insight to your storytelling. Welcome onto our platform once again.
Thank you so much, Rashmi, for such a wonderful introduction. And I'm so glad to be here on Spectrum Awareness Project, which I have been following for a couple of months. And you guys are doing amazing job, commendable job, I can say. And thank you so much for this opportunity. And it's a great platform. And today, as I have understood that spectrum awareness is basically emphasizing on the three major core values: acceptance, inclusion, and empathy. I'm so glad that I would be also sharing a story that is relevant to the theme. And for that story, I would be using what is called as a Kamishibai theater box. Kamishibai is a Japanese way of storytelling.
So, Roni, I'll interrupt you for a moment.
Yes.
You are a little feeble. Maybe you come, bring your headphone a little closer, the mic a little closer to the mouthpiece. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Can you
Yes,
hear me now?
yes,
Right?
yes.
Yeah,
Much
fine.
better. Yes, yes.
Thank you. So today, as part of sharing my story, I would be using Kamishibai theater box. Kamishibai is a Japanese way of storytelling wherein we draw pictures on the cards, and behind every card there would be the story depicted. So it would be so catchy for the children who look at the cards, and also for the teller who would be reading out the story from behind the cards. So this is a Japanese way of representing an ancient Japanese way of representing the story. And this is called as a Kamishibai theater box. And the story which I would be sharing today is a story written by a little girl, Kushi Seth, who is from New Delhi, and her story got published in a wonderful book called My Act of Heart. The book ideated and curated by my two wonderful friends, Deepika Ahuja and Anjali Gurmukhani Sharma. I'm so glad they have given me the opportunity to share their stories on different platforms. And for the specific story, I have drawn, my cards. And this is how it looks like. And so the story begins. Kushi and Ashi were two little sisters studying at an international school. And their school every year had a competition named Itihas. And every year the school used to come up with a unique theme. And this year the theme was inclusion of the specially abled children in normal schools. Such a wonderful theme. And so, as part of the competition, the students had to visit a blind school this time. They had to understand the lifestyle of the students studying at the blind school. And finally, at the end of the experience, they had to write an essay and submit it as part of their project. Khushi was part of the competition. Though Ashi, her little sister, was not a part of the competition, she accompanied her sister just to take a tour of the school. And it was a bright, sunny day. They had sumptuous breakfast, and so their mother drove them off to the school. And at the school, Khushi's and Ashi's friends were all waiting to see them, along with their teacher Leena, who welcomed, and the staff of the blind school also welcomed all the students. And now it was time for them to take a tour of the entire school, visit different classrooms, understand what was going on. How do they lead their regular lives? How do they study? What do they learn? All these aspects. Children were all so excited. And as the children were ready to go on a tour, Khushi's little sister Ashi attention caught on two girls, Umang and Mansi. Umang and Mansi, though were visually impaired, they used to study at Ashi's school. They used to attend the regular school. When Ashi looked at her friends Umang and Mansi, she screamed in joy. She was super excited. She went and shouted and hugged them. And so she came back to her sister and said that since it's a day and I've got nothing to do here, I would spend my whole day with my friends Umang and Mansi. Umang and Mansi were also equally excited when they heard Ashi's voice. And so the three of them were excited to spend a day together. And so the rest of the children were accompanied by teacher Leena, and so they started to take a tour around the school. And during this process, they have visited various classrooms. And in the classrooms, some of the students were learning Braille, some of the students were learning art, some of them were learning music. And they were also surprised that some of the students were sitting in front of the systems, computers, in the computer labs that were specifically designed for them. They were awestruck. We, being so physically fit, are unable to do many things, and how children with visual disability are performing much better than all of us. They were quite surprised by the way they were engrossed in the activities that they were doing. It was a beautiful day, a beautiful experience for all the students who have visited that school. They came across various emotions, they came across various situations, various instances, various experiences they behold within them. And the day has come to an end, and all the students, along with their madam, assembled at the conference hall. And it was time to reflect upon what they have experienced, to discuss upon what they have taken away from the day's tour at a blind school. They had to discuss, they have to reflect, they have to resonate and share with each other. And at that moment, Kushi just looked all around and she saw her sister Ashi playing with Umang and Mansi. Ashi has accepted Umang and Mansi with all the imperfections. She, she did not even try to know that they were blind. They were visually impaired. She was just playing them as if she was playing with any other normal child. That was the level of acceptance she had within her. Kushi, for a moment, thought, we are here to learn what inclusion is, to understand what inclusion is, and to take away what inclusion is, while her little sister, Ashi, was already living with that inclusion. The inclusion which was not taught to her, but the inclusion that has automatically emerged from within because of her compassion and her love towards her fellow beings. Ashi was playfully running around with Umang and Mansi. Among the dark lives of Umang and Mansi, Ashi has become a ray of light. She has considered them as her best friends. They were giggling, laughing, strolling on the ground, and doing everything they wanted. No, without any hesitation, without any inhibition. And Ashi also ran up to her mother, and then she brought some sweets and chocolates and offered them to Umang and Mansi. Umang and Mansi savored the taste, smelled the beautiful taste of the sweets and the chocolates. Ashi again ran to her mother and took her permission that she would invite Umang and Mansi to her house for Diwali. And she also wanted to perform, celebrate their birthdays along with her, along with her family, for which Ashi's mother accepted. And on the way back, Kushi was just peeping out of the window. She was trying to synthesize what has happened that day when she understood how beautiful is compassion and kindness and what kind of ripples it creates, what kind of love it regenerates and recreates and fills this entire world, this entire universe. And as said, Umang and Mansi visited Khushi's and Ashi's house for Diwali, and so they happily celebrated. And as promised, Umang and Mansi's birthdays were celebrated at Ashi's house along with her parents every year. And that ends my story. Thank you.
Wow, such a beautiful story and such a strong message which comes through this story, isn't it? What do you have to say, Rohini, on you have covered every bit here, what we keep on talking about at our platform, about being empathetic, about being accepting, about being inclusive, the three core values which we have been talking about. I think you've covered them all in this one story with compassion underlying all through.
Yes.
And what I believe is, and I think everybody must be believing on this, that children by nature are innately compassionate. It is we adults who have to learn, or we sometimes, have to, we are the ones who separate. So I
Yes.
think it is a beautiful story which deeply resonates with our core values, and really, really nicely narrated. And I think the characters played a very vital role in your story,
Yeah.
and how Ashi went up without any inhibition and embraced her friends, while
Yes.
Kushi, on the other hand, is learning to be inclusive.
Yes. Yes.
So, and also at this point, I would like to ask you about, we really want to have more insights about your work as a storyteller.
For me, storytelling has become more of a way of life than I can say it is my profession. Because story is, we all have stories within us.
I
Everyday,
think bring your mic a little closer.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Everyday conversations, whatever we have among ourselves, everyday experiences, everyday instances themselves are stories. So, stories were there within us since we have taken birth, and stories carry forward even after we die. That is what I believe in. So my work as a storyteller is to preserve, is to treasure those little memories, those little experiences in children, in adults. Adults who have forgotten that they were children, adults who have forgotten that they have a child within themselves. So my purpose as a storyteller is to reconnect, connect those dots and, bring in that life which we think that we have forgotten through stories. That is the only purpose that I have been living with so far as a storyteller, Rashmi.
That's wonderful. And you'll be glad to know that we have shared the link of your Katha Karwa.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you so
and
much.
you can also just, briefly tell our audience what it is all about. Since your story made so much, it resonated with all of us. So we would love to know about your
Yeah.
venture. Yeah.
Yeah. Katha Karvan is a platform wherein we motivate children, encourage children, bring in the hidden talents within them through creative writing and through storytellings. We deal with different kinds of storytellings, like, oral storytelling. Storytelling happens with music, storytelling that happens with puppets, shadow puppets, kamishibai theater, storytelling that involves movement and dance, storytelling that happens through expression, through art, everything. So, stories here, when I share a story to a child, I try to make the child think and imagine what is going on in his mind at that point in time, and bring out what how he connects with the story, and how he or she resonates with the story, and what's he takeaways from the story. Stories are for fun, yes, but at the same time, through storytelling, we also try to induce certain values into the children, values which are very much essential in this present day world which we are living. Children come with lots of doubts, lots of questions. So instead of just, telling them ki ha, this happens like this happens like this, we try to understand what the child is asking first, and then, you know explain them or describe them his situation, understand him, and then through storytelling we try to resolve whatever conflicts he or she is going through. So that is the main reason why I started my journey into expressive therapies also, because through expressive therapies is a platform which allows me to understand myself deeper, connect with my audience deeper. So whatever suits them, whatever medium suits them, I can use that medium to share my story or to connect with my audience. So this is what I do.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And I'm sure our listeners are going to really, really going to like this story narrated by Rohini. And Anamika is watching your story and she says it's just beautiful.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
Thank you
So,
so much.
and Sushma says, Sushma says that the way you have explained the core values is really, really very, very impressionable and really great.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rashmi, for that.
And especially, I must, congratulate you on the, even Sushma is saying that the creativity through which you presented. And I really like the cards, the story cards, which you have hand painted by
Yes.
yourself.
Yes.
It shows the expression of a storyteller, and it uh, kind of evokes the readers or the viewers feelings also in the story. So that's really nice, and really appreciate you for the hard work you've put in for the
Thank you so much.
storytelling. Thank you so much, and thank you
Pleasure.
to the writer who has very generously agreed on sharing the story written by her.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Stay tuned for more storytelling, for more stories with Story Auntie Nina and Story Time with Rashmi on Spectrum the Awareness Project, and with lot many more such storytellers. Bye bye. Have a pleasant evening. Bye
Bye bye.
bye. See you all.